Hey, Minnesota State Representative Krista Knudsen. We are at the end of week 3 of session, and I just wanted to do a quick wrap up. It has become crystal clear that Democrats have no desire to address the rampant fraud that we're seeing in our state. They are using committee time to present legislation that would take guns away from law-abiding gun owners. We have a real mental health problem in our state. Their solution to that seems to be taking away guns from law-abiding gun owners. Another thing that they keep bringing up in committees is legislation aimed at governing our federal law enforcement officers. We have no authority over federal law enforcement, and yet they're using committee time that should be used to address the historic fraud to try to regulate federal law enforcement officers. Republicans remain focused on addressing fraud. We are continuing to fight for that OIG bill, the Office of Inspector General bill. We've also introduced legislation that we're calling the Fraud Isn't Free legislation, and it had a committee hearing this week where it was voted down because every Democrat voted against it in committee and every Republican voted for it. So it stays in committee right now. That legislation would put guardrails around the spending in our state. It would also hold these agencies, these bureaucratic agencies, accountable. There would be real consequences, financial consequences, budget impacts if they are found to be aiding in fraud and not following proper protocol. Another thing that Republicans are focusing on is tax reform, tax relief. We have property taxes are through the roof. We have conformity taxes to the One Big Beautiful Bill legislation that was passed by the federal government. Something I'm hearing a lot about is the pass-through entity tax. That did get a committee hearing this week. Business tax deadline is March 15th, so not far away. And I do believe it's very important that we get that legislation passed so we provide clarity for our CPAs and for all those filing business taxes. That will continue to be a priority for me until it passes. That's a zero cost to the state bill, so I don't think that we should have a problem passing that, but we will see. Fraud. There was a new fraud scandal that was exposed this week in a grant program. A lot of these are grant programs. In a grant program aimed at helping small businesses, it has been found that questionable recipients are receiving that money. One more just black eye in our state agencies for not having proper oversight and using your taxpayer dollars how they were intended to be used. Governor Walz and Keith Ellison went to Congress this week, and it was tragically comical. If you haven't got to see any of that, I highly recommend that you do. They were grilled about the fraud that's occurring in our state, and they spent the majority of their time gaslighting, deflecting, blaming Trump, blaming everybody else but themselves for the fraud scandals that we've seen. And Governor Walz spent $400,000 of your taxpayer dollars to prepare for that. Last year, when Governor Walz went to Congress for, I believe it was sanctuary state policies, he spent $450,000 of your taxpayer dollars preparing for that committee. Ridiculous. A lot going on right now. I'll try to keep you updated as much as I can, but things are changing every single day. It's pretty sad when you look at the state right now, but you know what? It's worth fighting for.